I'm here with Jack Barrett, Chief Innovation Officer at Health Union, an organization that links health communities to provide support, validation, information, and connection across a variety of health conditions. Today, we're going to talk about how COVID is impacting the patient leader space. And we're going to talk about that right now. So you're Chief Innovation Officer at Health Union. Like, what does that mean?
I was hoping you were going to tell me what it meant. But Chief Innovation Officer at Health Union, I look at things like the social platforms that are coming next, right? What is the next big thing that's going to happen? What are the really unique ways we could connect folks to what we call social health, right? The human connections that make people healthier using digital online technology. How can Health Union expand what it does now?
That's pretty much why you're here in this space, because COVID has changed the game for so many people in the world all over. And
yes,
the digital space is pretty much the only space that we have these days. And cats like you and cats like Health Union are really helping to not even bridge the gap. You're broadening the space for everyone to have and to inhabit, just so that it's just one step removed from the real world, as it were. And there's more of a connection going. Like, you're doing that, Jack. Thank you.
Well, hey, I can't take credit. We've got lots of folks who are doing it, including people like you and the people who inhabit our communities and the We Go Health Patient Leader Network. That's really what we're about, is making sure they have a clean, well-lit place to do what they do. They get training, they get support, they get to meet each other, they get to meet companies and get paid once in a while. That's what we do as a company. That's what makes it tick. There you go.
It's patient expertise, and I mean, we're the experts.
That's right.
I'm an expert in multiple sclerosis. Like, unfortunately or fortunately.
Right. And I like to say you the unfortunate benefit of having the credential of your disease, right? No one can take that from you. You have earned that, and that's not a good thing. But it helps everyone else.
It's true, and you guys really help put the silver lining on health conditions. So, what do you do? I know that I've crashed into you guys because I make MS content. But say you don't make MS content. Say you're just an MS patient. Now, how does a Health Union and a multiple sclerosis patient connect?
Well, Health Union has about 40 communities in different therapeutic areas. MS is a big one for us, as you know. But folks come there and interact with what Health Union calls patient advocates, who are people like you who write content, create content for that community. But that's where Health Union was a great match for We Go Health. That's why we got together in June of this year, because we were about influencers who do their own thing on social media. Health Union has these big, well-developed, very well-supported communities that are about each one of those diseases.
That's the thing. I did not know that there was a health leader community. I did not know a patient leader was a thing. And I'm a performer who was just performing and found my way to speaking about my MS stuff on camera, because I speak about stuff on camera all day long for a living and pay rent. So I found myself in a space of like, wait, this is a thing? Wait, all of these people are way cool, and they all have conditions. In order to be in this room, you have to have a condition, and you have to be holding court for the community of other people with your condition. And you support that, man. That's wonderful work that you do, really.
It's incredibly invigorating. Whenever we get a little bogged down and, whatever's going on with a long regulatory meeting, with a program we're putting together, whatever, I say, look, let's stop and talk to some of our patient leaders about what they're doing, how we're helping them. And it's just like, boom, my spirits go right up and we get fired up again.
Watch this. So I'm, like I say, I'm more of a, not a natural, but I'm a performer. That's
You're a natural. It's okay.
Well, I'm a natural that made me a performer, that made me set to be able to create content that led me to you guys. Say somebody who's just watching this video is not this guy, but they might be able to find their way to being a patient leader. Like, what does that entail? What's that about, man?
Well, you're a great example of someone who took a skill you have both innately and in your professional life and combined it with your knowledge of your disease, and you became a rock star patient leader in many people's eyes because you have that combination. Other people will take that same skill. Maybe they're great writers. Some people just like to be sure that everyone knows how to use the technology that underpins everything. We call those guys engineers, right? They like to make sure everyone gets the help they need, and that's how they support the community. So everyone finds their place. Not everyone has the same motivation for what they do, but they're usually kind of, they're collaborators or influencers that like to, and people share different pieces of those attributes.
Wow. Yeah, that's really that's kind of what's getting me going. Like I can't even find words, because when you are in a health condition, when you are in the middle of a health condition, you're not doing so great, man. You're not doing hot at all. You hurt. Life is different. Your cash opportunities are different. And at least in my case, I just was creating, and then people started to listen. And the more people started to listen, now I'm sitting here with you. And for me, I'm just like, hey, keep please feeding the person who is looking at this, but it's still kind of like, can I do that? Like, what? I can't be this thing. I can't be that thing. No, yeah, you can be something.
Right. You can be a leader and not be a Damien video star. Right. You can do lots of things that are helpful.
And we need you out here, like you say, building community, things like more. What other things in the MS like community have you seen? Like what other standout people are doing what other sorts of things, you know?
Well, there's definitely MS is such a vibrant community, and I'm not, it's one that we've been a part of at WeGo Health since we founded the company 14 years ago, now as part of Health Union, which has also been committed to the MS space for a long time. I mean, there are just remarkable examples of folks who are getting together, and one of the things we talk about is, sharing their specific experiences with treatment, right? They're talking about, have you tried this medication? What was it like for you? How did your doctor react when you told him or her that you wanted it because you saw it on TV? All those kinds of conversations that are real specific and get into sometimes the nitty gritty of my insurance company would or wouldn't pay for it. That there's so much support that people get from being able to just try things on that way that doesn't feel right unless you're talking to another patient who's actually been through it.
Something that drives me and is a massive part of what you just said and expressed to folks. It's a saying that's, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So if you are afraid to talk about your condition or your doctor's office visits or your like all of that stuff, if you're afraid of it for any reason, maybe it might not even feel like fear, it just feels like reluctance. Anything that is kind of like, that is the cave that you need to enter, and you will find the treasure that you seek in there. And you might not even know that you need that treasure right now, but you will only find it if you go head first into what's giving you some sort of squiggly feeling inside,
But I think that's right. So much of what the communities do for the people who are members of them is to help them be more confident and feel more knowledgeable and empowered in their own care, right? That walking into a doctor's office and saying, hey, I'd like to talk about this isn't natural for everyone. And getting, what do I say? What questions should I ask? How should I do it? What if he says this? Those things really help people to go in and have a better conversation. One of the things I love about Health Union is they can do these big surveys really fast because they have lots of really engaged members. And we had a survey of 2,400 people that got with no one was paid, by the way, which what they're saying is real when they're not paid for a survey. They, well over 67%, I believe, said that they have better conversations with their healthcare professional because they're a part of a community, right? They participate in social health as we call it. That's real. That's where people go in feeling, they're ready because they've talked to other patients who've been in that office before them.
Right. Have you noticed since you've been in this space and sort of dangling the strings and making the rails, so to speak, keeping us all straight? Have you noticed COVID changing things or altering how patient leaders enter this space and go forward with their missions?
Well, we did another one of those nice big surveys that we can do a series of them about COVID actually. And what was a little disheartening was that folks with chronic diseases said consistently, we feel worse, right? We're just not doing good in COVID because seeing our physicians and HCPs is a frequent thing for us, right? And being shut down from the in-person visit was hard. But at the same time, they found a renewed commitment to the online work they do, as we've been talking about, right? That things like telehealth opened up to people who weren't open to it before, right? They were all of a sudden saying, this is amazing. I don't have to worry about scheduling and driving and whether I'm feeling well enough to go to an appointment. I can actually have a very robust appointment, because what happened was a lot of physicians who were kind of, I don't need to do telehealth, I like the office, were forced to telehealth themselves. So we saved 5 or 10 years of adoption of telehealth, and as a result, everyone says, I'm liking this digital connection we're having. But look at the
Yeah.
conversation we're having. It probably you and I would have been doing this 10 years ago, but most people weren't comfortable with Zoom and everything else
Yeah.
before the COVID really forced people to use these technologies. That was the one silver lining of this whole mess, which is still ongoing, is that people really adopted these technologies and found that they could have a real emotional and supportive connection that makes them feel healthier, even though we're online, not in person.
Wow, that's for me. I'm just absorbing that. A lot of the things that you're talking, man. I just it makes me think. It makes me feel, and it leaves a guy who is not really ever at a loss of words, at kind of a loss of words, because these are just poignant and specifically speaking to the needs of patients. Like you say, they're hurting, man. Like you say, it's been a whole thing trying to get to your healthcare practitioner, trying to keep all this stuff straight when you really aren't supposed to leave the four walls of your house, you know?
Right. Exactly.
It's things like organizations like you are shepherding is really helping folk get in touch with the other things that are possible in this current digital world that are right here for them if they just work to embrace them. And that's really one of the more important things, that as we are shut in, the more we feel shut in. Actually, I'm looking in the camera of a MacBook right now, and so are you. And so we all are doing these things, and it's like, it's different. However, there's a possibility for more of a connection. And that's what you guys do. It takes my breath / words away, man.
That's an accomplishment, but it's the vision of our company at Health Union to create those human connections that make a healthier world, right? And those human connections enabled by digital technology can grow so much more quickly and so much more powerfully. And again, if what patient leaders so often have done is kind of lead people by the hand into the digital world to say, this is okay, you can get real support here. And I think that's what we're so excited about, is finding new ways to get people to connect.
So how does one do this? They're watching this show and they're like, all right, fine, I have crawled out of my shell and I'm going to go into the cave I fear to enter, because I saw this interview with DW and Jack Barrett. So what does somebody do? They go to Health Union, they go to talk to me. What do we do?
Well, if someone is a patient who just wants to meet folks like you and get into a community of people who can help them to get to more connected around multiple sclerosis, for example, they would go to multiplesclerosis.net at Health Union, which is a big community of folks who are patients led by advocates. That's an online world where they can plug into other patients and leaders at the same time.
Yeah, no, so you're like even above the board. You guys have your influence in so many different spaces, so that it's not like go to healthunion.com to do the thing. It's like, no, go to multiplesclerosis.net. No, go to sicklecell.org, because we are supporting them to help support you.
And that's right. That what Health Union did so well was identify that people really want to go deep and understand their disease. They don't want to go from talking about multiple sclerosis to the South Beach diet and back over to like, oh, do you have migraines too? They want to dig into what they want to dig into at that time and really bond with people around that condition. People can have multiple conditions and belong to multiple communities, but so many of the health websites were just like, what are all the things we can get you to touch? Because we're throwing them in front of you. It's like, nope, this is your world. We understand you. We feel you. We're the people who are writing content are you. It's a powerful place. But that's for typical patients. If you're a patient leader or influencer, as you are, you also go to Health Union or WeGo Health. WeGo Health is still very much alive and well as part of Health Union now. That's where you're going to meet other patient leaders and influencers. You're going to learn things like, should I do TikTok? What the hell should I do on TikTok? Right. And maybe you'll do a course for us on that someday. Right. But we're going to teach people the skills to become, more empowered and effective as patient leaders or community leaders, which is different than a regular patient asking questions, but they're both there now. And that's why the combination of our companies was so powerful. They had the deep and we had the wide.
Wow. So what is one last thing you would say to either patient leaders or folk wanting to be a patient leader? Because I'm going to get up out of here right now. Because I'm like, no, get it done, baby. Come on, Jack. Give me something to leave the folks with.
Well, hang on, because the social health revolution is coming, right? This is the power of people to connect with each other and make the whole world healthier is accelerating at an amazing pace, right? You look at new channels are launching in social. Every time a channel launches in social, people grab onto it for their health and other ways that people can connect digitally. That's social health is how the future is going to be a healthier place than it is today. We're excited about supporting that, and hang on, it's going to be fun.
Wow, Jack, Barrett. Thanks for coming into space. And speaking to folks here in the MS Views Now community on behalf of MS Views News. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming here.
Damien, my pleasure.
Absolutely. And we'll see you guys on another MS Views Now. Thanks for watching.